Good afternoon, new 1%. It's Satoshi Boomin coming at you with another video. Guys, we are talking about Cardano today. I love it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, guys. We are trying to 10x our subscribers, and I need your help to do so, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Leave 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 comments down below, and let's get right into the show. I got my hot tea and honey locked and loaded, ready to go. Let's talk about Cardano. So today we are pumping. It looks like the markets are happy about the Cardano 360 event. Yesterday it was a great event, guys. I watched it. I loved it. There was a lot of stuff that I could not understand. It was a lot of technical stuff. But at the end of the day, we got exactly what we wanted, guys. Taking a look at the price here. We're pumping. We're pumping 11.4% today. The markets as a whole are pumping too, so that has something to do with it. But I expect a pump, and I'm going to tell you here soon when. Let's take a look at the most important news of the day. Later on, guys, towards the end of the video, I'm going to put on Charles Hoskinson's speech about Alonzo. We're going to do the whole thing. I think it's important. If you want to click out before that, if you've already seen it, then you can go ahead and click out. I'm not going to be mad at you or anything like that, but I think that it's worth looking at the whole thing. So we're going to do that. It's about 20 minutes, maybe. It's a long speech, but I think that it's worth it for everyone to hear. But taking a look at the price, guys, we're just hovering around this mark here. $1.20, $1.21 mark. We've been there for a while, been accumulating around this area, just waiting for some positive news. We got the news, guys. We should start seeing a pump as the months go on. I do not expect Cardano to stay at $1 for long, guys. So you might want to scoop it up. Scoop it up now before it's too late. It's never too late to invest in Cardano or digital assets for that matter. So I'm just joshing. Anyway, move on. So what you all came here for, guys, smart contracts are coming to Cardano this spring. The Alonzo testnet will finally allow developers to deploy their own decentralized applications on the Cardano blockchain. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So the Cardano developers plan to launch smart contracts focused testnet as soon as the end of April, like I had predicted. They're going to announce it. The private testnet's going to come out, then the public testnet, then it'll be integrated into the main net. The Alonzo testnet, which will bring smart contracts to the Cardano 88 blockchain, could go live as soon as April. Charles Hoskinson revealed during the Cardano 360 virtual conference, which I will play his whole speech in entirety. If you guys want to take a look at that, great. If not, you could go ahead and skip out. That's towards the end of the video. Hoskinson claimed that the testnet would launch at the end of April or early May. For the first time ever publicly, people will be able to write smart contracts on Cardano and deploy them. So the testnet is at the end of April, okay, and in early May. I think it's going to be towards the end of April. They're still working on the hard fork as we speak. So they're still building it out. They're still working it. They're still creating the code. Per the rollout plan, the Alonzo upgrade will come in the form of a hard fork this spring. Initially, smart contracts will be available for testing purposes only, with the full mainnet slated for early August. So July is going to be the public testnet, I think. We'll get to the roadmap here. I think it's going to be the public testnet, and then early August we're going to have smart contracts. So this is awesome, guys. This is extremely awesome. In addition to smart contracts, marks the major milestone for Cardano. It will finally make the blockchain a viable competitor to ETH. Last summer, ETH's DeFi ecosystem had boomed, building on a wide array of decentralized applications, all of which are based on smart contracts. Now, the same functionality is coming to Cardano. As an example, blockchain developers have presented a Cardano native dApp that allows users to swap tokens, much like Ethereum killer dApps such as Uniswap. So this is awesome, guys. The total value locked at DeFi at this current moment is nearly 40 billion. That's absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, major platforms like MakerDAO, Compound, Aave, and many others are all based on Ethereum smart contracts. And with the launch of Alonzo, Cardano will be able to expand it into this multi-billion-dollar market as well. So this is awesome, guys. You know, what are they going to say in August? They won't be able to say anything. The haters, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of FUD out there. And that just signals to me that I need to buy more Cardano. That's all that signals to me. When people are hating, when people are out there talking smack, don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They have no technical background. They just say Wind Moon and, you know, Ghost Chain, blah, 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 Link Marines. I know you Link Marines, some of you guys. And I really don't understand it. The maximalism is crazy, guys. We need all cryptos to win. All cryptos matter. It doesn't matter if you're Chainlink, VeChain, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We need you all to win. And the FUD just makes me want to pick up more Cardano. I don't know. Maybe I'm built different. When I hear FUD, that means buy more. So that's what I'm going to do. There's a lot of, you know, saltiness out there, a lot of anger out there for some reason on Cardano's name. And that just further validates it to me. So we'll see who wins in the end, guys. You know, at the end of the day, they did the same thing with VeChain, fake partnerships, fake Walmart of China, China coin, blah, blah, blah. And then once we get to 10 cents, they all FOMO in the top. Same thing with Cardano, Ghost Chain, no smart contracts. Charles Hoskinson is a scammer and he's mean. He says he posts mean tweets like bitches, man. Anyway, and then once we get to $5, $10, they'll FOMO in at the top like they always do. Nothing new under the sun, guys. We've seen this circle happen plenty of times. And at this point, it's like rewatching a movie over and over and over again. It kind of gets tiring. Unless it's like Sekiro or something like that. You know what I mean? Greatest movie of all time. Anyway, moving on. Will Cardano overtake Ethereum? CryptoLark, you guys know who CryptoLark is. He's a major crypto YouTuber. I hope to be like him one day. You know, shilling my BlockFi links and my Bybit links. You know how it is, guys. Getting out of wage slavery. Anyway, he says he's talking about Cardano and Ethereum here. If Cardano is going to overtake Ethereum, and I'm just going to skip all the BS. He says no. He says Cardano, by contrast, is dirt cheap, fast as hell, but you really can't do anything with it right now except stake it. I do subscribe personally to one network, many chains theory, but if I have to make a call, gun to my head, it's going to be Ethereum. Right now, for the foreseeable future, I think Ethereum is going to be the winner. Right now, Ethereum is so incredibly far ahead in terms of network affected developers and wallets and applications and all of these things. And yes, things could change quickly, but things are changing quickly right now for Ethereum. So keep that in mind. Optimism, a major scaling solution for Ethereum, is only a few weeks away from deploying right now. And ETH 2.0 is really not that far away, maybe another year or so. Will Cardano really catch up and pass the insane network effect of Ethereum in a year's time? I think it's gonna be longer than a year, and maybe I should start making my thumbnails like this so I can start getting 20k views a day. You guys, there's human psychology is really weird. Anyway, so I don't think it's gonna take a year. I think it's gonna take many years, guys, before the flippening occurs. That does not mean that I'm not bullish on Cardano. That just means that, you know, we need the ocean. So Charles put out a great video a while ago. I'm talking about months ago. The island, the pond, and the ocean. And basically the ocean is getting all the developers, JavaScript, Python, C++, amongst others, to come into the Cardano ecosystem and start building on Cardano. That will be the key. This here, you know, smart contracts is nice, but it's a vanity metric right now. The ocean is the real thing, the real big thing, guys, that will take us over the top, I believe. All right. Once we have Python developers coming in and creating smart contracts, that's not going to happen on Ethereum, guys. They don't have a plan for that. It's solidity, you know. So once the ocean occurs, I think that's when the flipping could occur, guys. I truly believe it. But you know, with anything, we're just going to have to wait and see. All right, and we can see here the roadmap, the full roadmap for the Alonzo hard fork here. So right now we're working on the ledger and the node here. In April, they're going to put out the Alonzo node, guys. And then the private test net will be in the middle of April for Alonzo. All right. Now, I think that's going to last about a month and a half. And then they're going to do the ledger integration, the node integration, and the WEB integration in May. And then early June, they're going to be starting, through May and June, it's going to be the Pioneers testnet, the Plutus Pioneers. And then the code freeze should be at the end of June. What that means is that that's a yes or no, a go or a no-go on the code. The code freeze should happen in the middle of June. And then once that occurs, they will give 4 weeks for Coinbase, Binance, all their partners to upgrade. And then the Alonzo hard fork should occur early August, late June, early August. All right, guys. So that's how it was broken down. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Charles' full speech. We're not going to cut it out. I'm going to try not to make a lot of noise here, rustling around, but just listen to it, guys. It's quite long. I'm going to give a shout out to my Patreon subscribers right now, just in case you guys were to click off. We have a new Patreon subscriber here, Maker Dow Crumbs. Thank you so much for your wonderful Patreon support, guys. This page is getting full. You rich mofos are listening to me now. Donate to my Patreon. I know there's some whales still hiding in my comment section. You better donate to my Patreon, you rich mofo. I know you got some money. Go ahead and send it over here. Help a brother get out of wage slavery. You know how it is, man. Thank you, Maker Dow Crumbs. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you to Maker Dow Crumbs, DNC Vell, Craig Wadding, Angela Schroyer, Climax ZH, Crypto Chemtrails, Daniel A, HPDSouthBay.com. For the people, Dig the Voice, Eric Parra, CryptoSVT.si, Kyle Bacci, Joe Jimenez, Brady Adams, Fruz Din, Boost Wayne, Maryland for Crypto, AmericanHomeRemedies.com, Ethan Jeffrey, The Fern Line, Lassie Nielsen, Sergio, Matt Harris, Bread, Garlic House, and AJ, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to go into Charles Hoskinson's speech talking about the roadmap. He could explain it a bit better than me. So let's get on with it, guys. Don't forget, if you have a couple of hours, if you're driving, if you're, at work doing mundane tasks, pop in your headphones, listen to the Cardano 360 event. There's a lot of technical stuff going on, but, it's all good to know. So let's take a look. Again, this is about, I want to say 20 minutes long, 36 to 201. So it's long, but I think it's worth it. So let's play it. I'm going to try to be quiet and let's go.
Give a little bit more information.
It's always a question, right, Tim? And absolutely. So we're going to have a special guest on here in a second. It's going to talk about how all of these things come together in a tidy roadmap view. So let's take a look.
Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson, broadcasting from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. So today we get to talk about some really exciting stuff. The progress of smart contracts on the Cardano network. And boy, that's going to be fun. So first, a little bit of history and why we chose the approach that we chose. And then we're going to get to some dates and some exciting things that are coming. All right. So I've been in the Bitcoin space a very long time, and so long I actually remember this. This is the value overflow incident. It occurred on August 15th, 2010. It was discovered that block 74638, 74,638, contained a transaction that created billions and billions of Bitcoins. Two addresses received 92.2 billion Bitcoins each, and whoever solved the block got an extra 0.01 BTC that did not exist prior to the transaction. This was possible because the code used for checking transactions before including them in a block didn't account for the case of output so large that they overflowed when summed. Very easy to make bug, very simple bug, and an example of what can go wrong in a scripting system. Bitcoin was never built with formal methods. It was never built with mathematical proofs. And so there's a lot of things that live in the code that we only think are secure or work because lots of different eyeballs and test cases and time has passed and security audits have passed. But there's always these types of things lurking. And the problem is the more expressive the programming language gets, the more things that can go wrong. And so there's many legendary bugs that have occurred in the Ethereum ecosystem. And for a long time, people have been asking questions of how do we get what Ethereum has brought to the field, but also enjoy some of the really cool stuff that came from the UTXO model in Bitcoin and that simplicity of that model. So it's some really cool papers. For example, this is BitML. It came out in 2018, and it's from Massimo Bartoletti and Roberto Zunino. And these two Italians, they got together and they were trying to think a lot about how to model kind of a more expressive and more formally rigorous way of doing transactions and contracts on Bitcoin itself. Now, there was also a parallel effort at Blockstream by a good guy named Russell O'Connor, really, really bright programming language guy. And he created something called Simplicity. And the attempt here, again, was trying to kind of improve the expressiveness of Bitcoin script to a point where it's comparable or at least can do similar things to the Ethereum virtual machine. And he goes on and on and on and on and on in this big paper. Let's see how many pages it is. And there's all the things you would expect, the actual formal semantics inside the paper itself, and they're written in Coq, which is a beautiful language that nobody uses except for domain experts. And so we read these papers and we had a parallel research effort of our own, and it resulted in the production of a foundation, the extended UTXO model. And what really makes this extended UTXO model special is that it takes all the really good stuff that Bitcoin has, but it also takes a lot of the really good stuff that you get in Ethereum land, and it puts them together, and you have a model that's significantly easier to shard and scale, and also to reason about when you're talking about a formal abstraction. If you actually read the BitML paper or Simplicity, you'll see there's a lot of cool things that UTXO gives you from a theoretical and applied sense for writing proofs that are not the case in the accounting world. And by having this beautiful UTXO model and just extending it a little bit, it gives us the ability to have basically what Ethereum brings to the table, but a much better foundation to write smart contracts on and to scale the system. And also this enables great experiences like Hydra and so forth. This is the product of 4 years of research, and it was written by Michael Peyton Jones and Phil Wadler and many others, and just an all-star team of computer scientists who worked really hard. Now, you have to build language on top of that. So here we go. We built Plutus, and you can see 7,580 commits. The last commit was 3 hours ago, 180 branches and many tags, and a gargantuan amount of work has been done with 60 contributors over a 4-year period. And Plutus is basically getting to the point where it's now being systematically integrated into Cardano itself. And let's talk about that. So here is what you all have been waiting for, the money shot. This is a roadmap of the next few months of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we had to clear Shelley and get ourselves on a new code base. And then we told everybody that Goguen would be a series of HFC events. And the first one was last year. And that HFC event was about bringing metadata and some structural improvements to basically get us set up to then bring in multi-asset, which was Mary in March. And now we are heading towards what's called the Alonzo phase. And so what Alonzo does is it takes this foundation, extended UTXO, which is partially already in the code base, and adds it all in, and then puts this beautiful Plutus platform on top of Cardano. Okay? And here's kind of a timeline of how that works. So first off, it has to be integrated into the ledger and node code. That's the heart of Cardano. Then the wallet sits on top of it, then Daedalus. Okay? So what's occurring right now, all throughout March and all throughout April, is that integration into the node to get a CLI. Now, as that integration is happening, sprint by sprint, partners are being brought in, and these are alpha partners, so they're very close and deep and core to the company. There's about 12 of them in our constellation, and they're running lots of acceptance criteria and tests and other things. Okay. Then after that happens, we'll be able to, at the end of April, early May, to launch an Alonzo testnet, which means for the first time ever publicly, people will be able to write smart contracts, and deploy them on Cardano, Plutus smart contracts, and use the Plutus platform. Now, this is a iterative process, and it's one where the experience improves step by step, week by week. And what we're doing is we've been focused a lot on bringing two large cohorts of people to stress test this network when we turn it on. So the first cohort are professional development firms, and we went to more than 10, and it looks like we're going to pick the top 5, and you'll be meeting some of those partners today. I think they may have already presented. And those partners are basically going to write a collection of test contracts and test scenarios and go and try to build some stuff like NFT marketplaces and take what we wrote with AgeUSD and run it and so forth. So just a huge amount of professional, systematic Plutus stress testing development to verify the resource model, to make sure the tooling is working. And what they're looking for are deficiencies. So in the Plutus application framework, they're going to be looking for, hey, there's some weird messages with the compiler, or the documentation is unclear, and so forth. But really the goal is to co-develop as a red team with the Plutus team and act as a group of critics to ensure that the overall product is improved. The second group are the Plutus pioneers. And you'll see right here the Plutus Pioneer testnet. And basically the pioneers, what they're trying to accommodate is writing actual Plutus applications that will be put into production for dApps and DeFi. We have already received interest from 1,300 people who are developers who want to be part of a Pioneer testnet. And what we're doing is we're trying to winnow that set down a little bit. And Lars is going to be running, and I believe he's already presented on that, a special class for the Pioneers testnet. And basically the idea there is that when that testnet turns on, a large group of people who have been taught how to write Plutus code for the first time can actually go and hit deploy contracts and try to break it, just like those development partners are. Now, while this is occurring, there's going to be many integrations of the Plutus framework, the application framework, into the ledger, the node, and the wallet backend. And then there'll be, in the end of May, entering into June, a huge surge of QA and user acceptance testing and so forth. Now, the goal here is to make sure that we basically get a lot of these integration issues out, because Plutus was built by an independent team in parallel to the Shelley team, and now that that's being pulled in, there's going to be some rough edges in that integration. And we don't want things like the value overflow. So how you prevent that is through things like property-based testing and quick check and these types of things, where you can actually get proofs that that kind of stuff just can't happen. Okay, so that's exactly what's going to be occurring in May and June. There's external testing from this wave of stress testing pioneers who are building interesting, cool, exciting things, and this stress testing from this wave of professional companies who are development firms all across the globe, 24/7, who are building things and beating up the network and having lots of fun with it. And the goal is that this entire process will conclude and we will be feature frozen around the end of June. Now, if that occurs, what we will do is wait 4 weeks minimum for our partners, the Coinbases, the Binances, Yoroi, all these other people who have infrastructure that needs to upgrade, test, and modernize for Alonzo before we do the Alonzo hard fork. That said, the code that you write for the testnet will be usable day one on the mainnet. Okay? So this is our preliminary view. We've had 3 separate teams of delivery people and the engineers look at these dates and look at our delivery train, look at the burn down charts, the story points, the sprint velocity, what bugbears we've come up with. So we feel fairly confident with these things. And we believe that the big surge of people hitting the network will provide a very good stress test for what we feel similar to what the the Pioneer stake pool testnet did for us back in May and June of last year when we were in the build up to Shelley. And we also, through partners, are spinning up a dedicated QA team. So in addition to having Haskell developers doing the feature and integration train, we're also going to have specialized Haskell developers who come in at a great cost to me, but that's okay. And their job is to do nothing but fix bugs or clean up some of those rough edges as the feature team keeps moving forward. So we're going to be working in parallel to make sure that bugs that are discovered during the Pioneer testnet do not disrupt the delivery of Alonzo as much as humanly possible. Now, we will have a precise date for the Hard Fork Combinator event at the end of April, but we feel very confident in this preliminary collection of monthly milestones. And you can kind of see that every month major things are happening. So the node and the full node integration should be done at the end of April, and then we're doing the wallet backend integration, running a Pioneer's testnet. We're doing QA and all this other stuff. And May is probably going to be the roughest month because that's the very beginning of the Pioneers testnet. June will be the cleanup month where we're really starting to get everything where it needs to go. We're kind of tuning things. And if we can keep the velocity we believe we have, we should be able to code freeze, feature freeze at the end of June. And at that point, it's basically working with partners like Coinbase, like Binance, like Bittrex, like the wallet manufacturers and so forth, and the custodians and all these other parties, and the stake pool operators and all these other parties to make sure that they upgrade in time. And the minimum amount of time for that is 4 weeks. It can be up to 6 weeks. But if we can get a code freeze at the end of June, which we feel confident with, this would indicate that at the end of July would be the HFC event. And then we have full smart contract support, 1,000+ developers ready to go from the Pioneers program, a big wave of development firms that are doing that. And at the same time, the commercial team and the ERC20 conversion team, probably in the June timeframe, will begin the commercial activity of porting things that are already in the queue and pipeline onto the network. Now, huge amount to do, lots to think about. This is a very aggressive schedule, and we've massively scaled up resources to ensure this delivery. Basically, we're merging two big things together. If you look at the code base for Plutus, it's a humongous body of work, and there's a lot of theory here, and there's a lot of moving pieces, and this is going to be the first cryptocurrency that uses the extended UTXO model that was developed by Chakravarti and Wadler and the others. Okay, so we're kind of trailblazing in a certain respect, and this is a very new model for developing applications. That said, there was a relatively similar model with Ergo and their Sigma protocols and their version of extended UTXO. And so we actually took the time to write applications like a stablecoin and other such things in that world to kind of get a good sense of what the overall application writing experience is going to look like. So this is the nuts and bolts, soup to nuts of the process. At the end of April, we'll have specific dates for when that HFC is going to occur. Tentatively, we feel it's sometime in July, late July to early August, if there's a 4-week burn-in for partners, and that assumes a code freeze at the end of June. We should have really good data. If, for example, if we can get that full integration done at the end of April and we're still on this roadmap, what we thought was true with projections is true. And so that date is probably very likely. I think there's a greater than 70%, 80% chance, just based on historical data we've looked at from the last 6 sprints and how things are coming together. A lot of the Plutus infrastructure is already very well tested on their side. It's just the integration of these two things. And there's a lot of little things that are going to happen during that integration. And as always, there's API changes. As always, there's format changes. As always, there's bugbears and other such things. And integration is very difficult when you take independent systems and you pull them together. So we can't give you 100% certainty, but this is very similar to what occurred with the Byron reboot in the Shelley, and the fact that we have such an aggressive testing program, which I think is probably the best in the history of the industry, gives me a lot of confidence that we're going to get there quickly. Part of the scoping is also documentation improvement, and I believe Jim Caldwell is talking about mastering Cardano. That textbook, we're also working on Plutus tutorials and so forth. The point of the Plutus Pioneers program is to train a large cohort of people. In addition to training them, we're also going to be listening And the end goal is to make sure that we have extensive documentation for how to build canonical applications and design patterns, how to use all the interfaces, how to use everything in the standard development kit, and so forth. That will continue beyond May and June. We'll keep working on it. And in July, August, September, the coming months, we'll keep adding. So launch is not the end, it's just the beginning in a certain respect, because this is where the rubber meets the roads, and there's going to be a huge amount of stress and demand on all of our people in Plutus land. Now, we're also working at making sure there's going to be a Cardano stack exchange available by the launch date of Cardano for Plutus. And the goal there is if you're a developer, you have somewhere you can go to ask questions. And what I will do is make sure that some of the Plutus team allocates some of their time, as well as Lars and others on our side, to answering questions that people ask on the Stack Exchange, because we know that's a vital resource for developers. And for a lot of launch applications, we will be doing some co-sourcing. So if we don't directly assist, some of those 5 firms that we bring in who are just testing things, we're going to roll their contracts over to community support contracts. So they're around to help you guys co-develop, help you guys answer questions, help you guys solve problems, perhaps even do pull request review, and so forth. So the next few months are going to be some of the busiest, perhaps the busiest in the history of Cardano, because we're, for the first time, executing on every dimension. On the Voltaire side, a lot of new funding is coming, now 2 million, and a lot will be allocated to dApps. And for the first time, these guys are going to get a lot of money to be able to go and do some damage. The commercial division is going to be converting people over, and we're going to be working with partners like SingularityNet, Liquidity, and so forth. The engineers are overloaded. External firms are coming in to assist the engineers to make sure the QA burden's there. The education team will be doing the largest class we've ever done, and a huge amount of people are coming in for that. And then, of course, we have lots of things going on in our infrastructure and ecosystem. So all of those people will be talking to exchanges on a regular basis, wallets on a regular basis, and so forth, to pull all these things together. It is going to be fun. That's why I'm wearing a poncho. We're not going to sleep much. That couch behind me is going to be pretty warm because I'll be sleeping on it well more than 1 or 2 nights. But we'll get it done one way or another. And if we have to work hard, we have to work weekends. That's what we're here for. So I hope that meets your expectations, everybody. The age of Plutus is almost upon us. Welcome to the Goguen era. Alonzo is almost here. Code freeze, feature freeze, ideally at the end of June. 4 to 6 weeks to get the partners upgraded in. If Coinbase calls me and says they want an extra week or 2, we'll probably say, okay. These are the kinds of partners you got to keep happy. So as we get closer to that, we'll have more precise dates. And at the end of April, we'll announce the HFC tentative date. And make sure we start aligning everybody in that direction. If you want to be a Plutus pioneer, sign up for it. The information was in this show about it. If you are a development company and you want to start writing Plutus smart contracts, please do reach out to us and call us. We have already 5, as I mentioned, that are coming in, but I'd love to see that cohort grow. And that's Plutus. That's Alonzo. It's 6 years in the making. Great history. 2010 with the value overflow incident told us all we should take it seriously. A lot of people have been thinking about it, and we've been thinking about it too. And now it's finally time to see one of the most elegant and beautiful programming models in the history of our industry wake up and do something really cool. This is frankly how Bitcoin should have done smart contracts, and I think if Satoshi was a PL expert, probably would have done it in the beginning. But that's the benefit of hindsight and time, is that you can make things better, improve things. And as I mentioned, this is just a beginning. So after Plutus hits market, there's still lots of work we're going to be doing, improving the application framework, the standard libraries, the documentation, and also iterating the overall model of Plutus. So version 2, we're already in discussions about what that would look like. This programmability, once it comes out, will enable the Plutus ecosystem to bring DeFi, the Plutus ecosystem to bring really beautiful tokens, all kinds of cool things to Cardano. So if you like Uniswap, you like MakerDAO, you like all this stuff that's come with Ethereum, This is basically what's going to open up that possibility and bring it to our chain. It's really the last mile, and what puts everything together. Moving beyond this, then it's all about finishing up the Ouroboros agenda. So we're getting to Genesis. Moving beyond this, it's all about finishing up the governance components. And so completing Catalyst and completing the on-chain update system, and then fully turning over all those mechanics to a community governance system. And then we're in the Cardano 2025 age, and we have so many cool things like Omega and cool things like light clients and so forth. We call that the Mithril Initiative to bring to market, and we can't wait to get there. But this is the big one. This is the one that I've personally been waiting for more than anything else. I mean, Shelley was exciting, and it's nice to beat Ethereum to the proof of stake market. We're the most decentralized cryptocurrency in the world now. But this right here is the smart contracts done right, and what we should have done with Ethereum and what Bitcoin should have done. And putting our money where our mouth is, we spent 4 years thinking about it, probably well over $10 million in research and development to build this component. And now we finally get to bring it to market. And I cannot wait to see what so many of you community members who have been waiting for so long build. And I cannot wait to build some things myself. As many of you know, I'm a game developer in addition to a cryptocurrency developer, and I'm probably going to do a Crypto Bison play as a play on CryptoKitties, because I actually own Bison. I have a herd of 400 of them. So it would be really cool to see what happens there. And it'd be really cool to see what we as a company could bring, everything from NFT marketplaces to cool partnerships with companies like Wolfram and perhaps Oracles and so forth. And this is the point of Alonzo, is to enable those capabilities. And very rapidly, there's a beautiful team that's very elastic that can scale to meet these demands, that not only can make sure that these things get done, but also make sure that they get done properly, well, in a timely manner. So this is the year of Cardano, the age of Cardano. 2021 is our year, guys. As I said, everything's waking up, everything's turning on, and Cardano's really coming together nicely. Thank you for being part of all of this. And thank you for going on this journey with me. You know, we started it in February of 2015, and it has really been just year after year, a year of grinding, year after year of development. And to see something that started as a dream slowly come together and turn into something like this is extraordinary. And we could not have done it without this amazing community. We could not have done it without all of our partners. We couldn't have done it without these incredible scientists and engineers. And to see all this come like this is it's humbling. So until next time, thank you all for listening to the Cardano 360.
So D-Day approaches. D equals 0 when decentralized block production begins.
Alrighty, guys, that was it. Have a wonderful day. I will talk to you tomorrow with the VeChain updates. Don't let your memes be dreams. I love you. Bye.